This is the typical view of Bridge when you first open it up. And you're going to find out that it actually looks almost identical to their webpage. There are a few minor differences, but we'll go over all that. Now, the very first part of the interface that you're going to want to learn is actually up in the upper right-hand corner. And this is where you go to log in. So we click on this icon of a person here, and we enter our email and our password. And at that point, you're logged in to use Quixel Bridge. I'm not going to click on it right now because I'm already logged in and it shows personal information. So we'll just move on to the next one. To the left of the login icon is the notifications icon. It looks like a little bell. Anytime the software needs updated or they've done a new feature or a series of new scans, you'll find it listed here under this icon when you click on it. The next thing you should know about is how to manage your plugins. And these plugins are for exporting. So we're going to go to the Edit menu and we're going to go to Manage Plugins. When this window opens, you're going to see a list of third-party programs that they have plugins for to export to. And you'll see little blue down arrows. You can use these to download for whatever programs you're going to use. You can see here, I've already downloaded the Unity plugin. Now, pick any plugins that you need that you use on a daily basis and go ahead and download them. Now go back to the Edit menu and go to Export Settings. Here is where you set it when you want to export. So currently it's exporting to the Unreal Engine. I'll change it to Unity. Now that it's on the Unity plugin, you can see that it's giving you instructions. There's a package that we need to grab and we need to install that package into our Unity project. But for now, we're not going to worry about that because we're just going to go through Bridge and all its features. In video 4, we will walk through actually exporting things. We have a few other details we need to cover, but let's look around a bit first. I'm going to hit the back section on the export thing so we go back to our main interface and we'll just look around. You can see that everything is in categories and there are collections and there's a free section. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download all the free stuff, well, because it's free. I always start people off in the free section. It gives you an instant collection of materials and objects to play with. Now the next thing I should talk about is the purchase section. This is where it stores everything that you ever purchase from these guys. I'll go ahead and mention the newest section, which is the Metahuman Section. Now, this is specifically for the Unreal Engine. I don't know if they have any plans on expanding these humans to other engines, but for now, it's only for Unreal. If you click on Collections and scroll down, you're going to see a ton of information. Now, collections are just groupings of scans that they thought went well together. And there's all kinds of information here, not only from the community, but also tutorials from the company themselves. You can see here there's at least a dozen tutorials. A lot of useful information. Collections is a very useful way of grouping things. It allows environment artists to pick a theme like a factory and find objects that are similar in nature that would probably be in the environment. The next thing we should talk about are download settings. Now these are also in the Edit menu, so we'll just go up to the Edit menu. Go to Download Settings, and you'll see on the right-hand side all the different possible things that you can download. And these are just different maps and model types. You even have the option of downloading the original scan, which is the high poly source, or you can download a Z-tool, which is a ZBrush file, which has been processed and cleaned up. If I was going to say the one thing that I wind up using most in Bridge, it's actually changing these textures in the download settings. Different game engines have different pipelines, and different clients have different pipelines. So you wind up changing these settings for downloads quite a bit. But don't worry, because you can actually re-download the same assets with different maps, and we'll let you do so. For now, let's scroll to the bottom and click on Reset to Default for Bridge's default settings. By the way, you can always scroll in these panels using the middle mouse wheel. One last thing you should know about before we start downloading things is in the View menu, and it's the Reload command. As soon as you click on this, it's going to go to the local folder that it stores your library of objects. It's going to go through and reload all those objects and update Bridge's internal database. This command is fairly important because sometimes Bridge will not show you things that you import from Mixer, or sometimes when Quixel updates Bridge, it has problems locating all the objects. So that command allows you to reset your database and reload all your objects that are stored locally back into Bridge. As soon as you click on reload, you're going to see the user interface go blank and update for a few seconds. Typically, after I do a reload, I'll also close Bridge and reopen it just to make sure that everything is updated. Before we start, I should mention that your screen is going to be slightly different from my screen in that I will have no point costs on mine. I'm using the Epic login, therefore anything I download doesn't cost any points. But you'll see a point value on each item in one of the corners in the upper left or the upper right. And of course, if you download anything, that means you're going to spend whatever the point value is. Now that's the only difference. So I'm in the abandoned factory collection, which means everything in here could possibly be in an abandoned factory. You're going to see materials, 3D objects, decals, pretty much everything you would need to build a 3D model of an abandoned factory. Now I'm just going to find something interesting, probably either a gas canister or a barrel. Let's download this canister right here. Now you're going to see as you hover over it different symbols. Here's a download symbol. And if we go to the lower right corner, you can see a favorite symbol, but I'm going to click on download. Now you're going to see a green check in the left corner, which means it's now in our collection. And as it downloads, you'll see some pop-ups in the upper right up here. These are update notifications, and it will tell you if it's successful. Now, if it's not successful, a pop-up will appear saying that the operation failed. But as you can see, it's downloaded successfully. If we go back to our canister now and look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the symbol is different. It is now the export symbol. When I click on the export icon, it immediately tries to export to Unity. You can see that in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. The problem is it's going to fail, and the reason it's going to fail is for a couple of reasons. The first is Unity has to be open to a project. The second is that Unity project needs the Quixel package file to be properly installed. Now don't worry about this because in the fourth video we're going to show you how to export things step by step into Unity. So I'm just waiting for the export error to show up on the screen. It'll take a couple seconds. And in the meantime, I've just left clicked on the item to see a larger description of the item. So any second now we should see an error message. And there you go. The error message is finally shown up. The could not send data over port error that you see means that it was literally trying to talk to another program, but it wasn't able to speak to it. Everything that Quixel offers is downloaded the exact same way. You click on the green arrow. As soon as you do, you see the green check saying it's part of your collection. And as soon as it's downloaded, you'll see the export symbol. Now, if I click on any of the objects, you'll see a description on the right, and the upper right-hand corner will offer you different views of that object. Now you know the basics of getting around in Quixel Bridge. The next thing we're going to look at is Qixel Mixer.